Hey guys, this is Krawll. I'm sure you can see that there is a ship in front of me as usual. Uh, I made a new ship and I'm making this video to talk about it to you guys. So, I don't know if you saw my last videos, but if you did, then this might look a little bit familiar to you. It's the first time I'm showing you this ship, but this view right here might look a little bit familiar to you, and the reason why is because this ship was built, it's actually a Mark II of a ship I've already built. I've built this one from scratch, but I've inspired myself from the first one that I built, which was my Scarrab, which I will show you right now in case you haven't seen it. So Scarrab, okay, I don't know why this went back up. Okay, Scarrab, this one here was, I guess, Scarrab Mark 1, which was a carrier and refueler. It was a lot bigger than the one that's in front of you right now, because this one is actually very tiny. And the reason why I built this one is because I realized a little bit too late that this one was not eligible to be added to the game, and I built it to submit it to the devs for them to consider adding it to the game. Now, when I built Scarrab Mark 1, I thought that the limit of triangles for large ships was 500k or 500,000, and I was wrong, because 500,000 triangles is the limit for stations, not large ships. So since I pretty much used the entire 500k or almost, I think the ship has like 498,000 triangles, then it's not eligible to be added to the game. Now this ship is also part of a faction that I'm working on, and there will be, when I'm done, there will be an entire fleet of ships that are part of that same faction, and my hope is that the devs will like it enough to actually add the entire faction to the game, and that one day when they add AI to the game, that they will give AI to that faction, so that you might actually encounter, small fleets of that faction as you travel into space. So this is my big hope. I know, some of you might be saying right now, like, dream on, man, that's never gonna happen. But hey, guy is allowed to hope, all right? So anyways, this ship was gonna play an important role in the faction, and now that I know that it's not eligible to be added, I decided, well, you know what, I'm gonna build a new one from scratch, and this one I'm gonna make sure it doesn't exceed 350,000 triangles to make sure that it's eligible to be added. And matter of fact, this time I was so careful that I ended up using only, I'll show you, 218,000 triangles, which is, more than 100,000 less than the actual limit that I was allowed to use. So if this ship is not considered performance friendly to older computers, then I don't know what is. This ship is actually smaller than the red ship. It has less triangles than the red ship. The red ship even has like more than the limit that the devs are letting us use to build ships to add to the game. Anyways, so this ship is still a little bit of a carrier, but definitely definitely much smaller than the other one. Uh, I built small ships that are part of this faction and that were built specifically to be carried by the Scarrab, the first one. And the Scarrab was able to carry 6 fighters on top, and several of the little refuelers here in the middle. Now this one is only able to carry 2 fighters, one on top, one underneath here, as well as 2 refuelers, one on each side. And I'll show you right now because they are here. I have another one which is already set up with small ships on it. So as you can see, there is a fighter here on top. I guess if I squeeze them really tight, I could possibly fit 2 of these fighters, but I don't recommend it. It would be risky. You'd risk like hitting them on each other and maybe damaging them. So you know, I'd stick with just one on top here, one here on the bottom, and then 2 little refuelers on each side. I guess once again you could probably fit a 3rd refueler if you wanted to, but you know, just to be safe, this would be a normal carry for this ship. The other one had 4 turrets. This one has only 3, 2 here on top and 1 here on the bottom to attack people that might be chasing. But you know, it's not like one little Gatling turrets would make a lot or a big difference. I guess it would just be to annoy whoever's trying to attack this ship. Most of the fighting would be done using these fighters. So the ship has a cockpit, obviously, which is in here, and also has some I guess working stations here. This would be where the pilots for the fighters and the refuelers would hang out, and they would, you know, maybe work here, sit here at these stations, not to fly the ship obviously, but you know, to work stuff, maybe control the cameras, not cameras, the ship doesn't have cameras, but the turrets. Krawll, this can pretty much be used as a camera, right? Can't zoom, but still. Okay, so let's get out of this, and I'll show you the inside of the cockpit. So this is not connected to the cockpit. The cockpit would be like up here. This is just like a working place for pilots to be while waiting until they are needed on deck, or until they're needed to fly one of the fighters. So obviously if the ship gets attacked, they would rush out of there, come here, get into the fighter here. The other pilot could come here and get into the second fighter. Okay, so both fighters are being used. You can also use these little guys, which are called fleas, because all of my ships are going to have insect names, or names that are, you know, used while referring to insects. Like this one is called the stinger. Obviously a lot of insects have stingers, and this one is called the flea. But this one, I plan on working on a second model that will play the exact same role, and this one might get retired. I don't like them at all. They're too basic, too simple, too normal, and I don't like them. I like the fighter a lot. It's probably one of the coolest small ships I ever built. I like him even more than my Lazarus, which was my favorite small ships up to now. Anyways, this used to be my favorite ship. It's still, you know, I still like it a lot, but I don't know, the Stinger, after I was done with this one, I just fell in love with how it looks, and it's definitely my favorite small ship. Anyways, so the fleet will no longer be called the Fleas. I don't know why I call them like that, because they're small and, you know, pretty much harmless, but I'm gonna come up with a better name than Flea, and I'm gonna definitely come up with a better design, but until then, they're still part of the fleet. So anyways, let's just delete Lazarus for now. So, yeah, okay, so the role of the Fleas are to refuel large ships in the fleet. Obviously, ships that are not able to come and connect here to refuel themselves, or connect here to refuel themselves. So this is where the Flea comes in. You hop into the ship, turn power on, unlock landing gears, take off, and then get out. Once you're in the ship, you can actually search for remote control, click reverse control, and now my controls are actually in reverse. And hang on. Camera back, let's put it here, view. Camera front, let's put it, okay, so 7. So now I'm controlling the ship in reverse, but my controls are completely normal. I'm controlling this ship as if I was controlling it from the cockpit, but I'm looking through the camera that is in the back right now. So obviously I'd be coming here, connecting to this, and now I've just been pulled kind of like a magnet. I wasn't doing that. So you lock to it, you fill up, there's a medium cargo container in this ship, so you fill up the medium cargo container with fuel for any other ship in the fleet. On lock, you can look through the other camera if you want, just make sure there's nothing in the way. So we're going to go back to this camera, so you'd be going to any other ship in the fleet that needs refueling, dump all the fuel in that other ship, and then come back to this one. Now obviously if I want, I can hop out, or, you know, like right now I'm just back in the regular cockpit, just controlling the ship normally. Feels like there's too many gyros in this ship, it's turning way too fast. Also, this ship does have Gatling guns, just for extremely desperate situations where the fighters are not, they can't handle the situation on their own, and you know, they need all available ships in the air fighting. Then the fleets can be used to fight, but you know, in most cases, the fleet itself is going to be able to handle pretty much any situation. So these fighters are not even going to be required, and it's, you know, certainly not the fleas. But like I said, in a very extreme situation where the fleet is actually losing the fight, then the fleas can be used as a desperate attempt to turn the situation So we are done, we are docked. So this is how the ship works. You fly with the fleet, most of the time probably being surrounded by the fleet just to keep the refueler safe, because the refueler would be pretty much the heart of the fleet. If the refueler dies, the fleet will not be able to travel as far because they're all going to run out of fuel eventually. But this one has, I think, 5 or 6 large cargo containers, and if you fill up all of these cargo containers with extra fuel and extra ammo, then you're going to be good to travel for months without having to go to a station. So this is the role of the Scarrab, to keep a fleet going for pretty much forever. Now there might be other carriers, other support ships in the fleet. Maybe some of the other cargo ships in the fleet would be carrying building materials. But this one will never carry building materials. It will always just carry fuel and ammo, because this is his role. That's why he was built. Now, just for fun, just in case you guys haven't seen the other one, I'm gonna spawn another, well, the first Scarrab I built. It's gonna be a funny sight to see, because this one might look somewhat big right now, but when you see the other Scarrab, you're gonna be like, oh my god, it's so cute! This Scarrab Mark II is like tiny as hell. It's super tiny. So this one was built to be an actual carrier, but then in my memory, I really thought that the limit that I was allowed to, the limit of triangles I was allowed to use to submit a ship to be added to exploration mode, I really genuinely thought it was 500,000, and I only learned that it was actually 350,000 after this ship was all built and published and submitted to be added to the game. And when I realized that, I said, damn. So the devs are probably not even gonna look at it. They're probably just gonna ignore it. They're not even gonna consider it just because it exceeds the 350k limit. And I really wanted that ship to be added to the game, so I was really angry at myself. But you know what, I woke up today and I told myself, the hell with this, I'm just gonna build another one, and I'm just never gonna repeat that same mistake again. Next time I'm gonna do my homework and get my facts right before I start building a ship. It was my fault. I was angry at myself, not at the devs, obviously. But look at how tiny it is compared to the other one. So there you go. First Scarrab, the first one who had the job of refueling a fleet, and then boom, little tiny Scarrab beside it is the new refueler that the faction is going to use now. I guess it's going to be easier to protect it by with the other ships in the fleet. It's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be less of a target for enemies. Yeah, to my big surprise, so you can see all of the ships that I've submitted so far, and you know, these are just torpedoes, but okay, so here's my Scarrab. Yeah, to my big surprise, I had there's a new one now. 10 subscribers for this ship, and I didn't even like it that much, to be honest. So thank you guys to all of you that subscribed to my first Scarrab, but now I got another one. So if you like If you like this one, then I'm glad, keep it, have fun with it, but this one might be better depending on what you want to do. It might offer better performance for your computer because it's a lot smaller, it's a lot more performance friendly, I should say. So yeah, the big one, I was able to fit 6 stingers on top, and possibly 2 inside, but I was using the inside for the little fleas only, and the top for the stingers, because it's easier for them to just take off and go fighting right away if they're on top. Now, if the devs like the ship and they decide to add it to the game, when you find it, you're actually going to find extra ammo and extra fuel in its containers. I had done the same to this one. At first I didn't, but then I changed my mind and I added some extra ammo in the containers because, to me, you know, I know it can take a really long time before you find a ship in this game. Most of the time you're going to find asteroids, but you know, once in a while you might come across a ship. Now you come across this ship, if it's completely empty, then okay, cool, you found a ship, but you know, you probably already have a ship. Maybe you don't need an extra ship, so you can probably bring it back home and scavenge it, or you know, grind everything to use the materials to build something else. But okay, that would be a reward in itself, but why not give a little bit of extra reward as well? So if you look inside here, you'll find 200 uranium. If you look inside, I don't know if it's this one. No, this one doesn't have anything, but there are 3 cargo containers that actually contain stuff in them. So, okay, there's the 200 uranium, and then there's 100 boxes of ammo and 40 missile containers. So, you know, it's always nice to get a reward for finding something like this, you know, because that's the whole point of exploration. It's finding stuff. And if you spend hours and hours and hours in space looking for stuff, and then finally you come upon a ship and you're like, yeah, a ship, okay, cool, let's look in it, let's look inside and see if there's something, and then boom, there's nothing. You know, what a disappointment that would be. So at least when you look inside the containers, you're gonna find something, and this is the role of the ship. It's to carry ammo and fuel for the other ships, so it's only logical to think that there would be at least some of it in there. And also the turrets, they have 10 boxes of ammo each inside of them, so there's more ammo there. And each one of the reactors, which are exposed here just like the previous Scarrab, I wanted to keep some of the ship's features the same, because this is the Scarrab Mark II, so obviously it had to have similarities to the Mark I. So the reactors here, they were all exposed like this, so I kept that feature for Scarrab Mark II. It's right there. There's 2 reactors. And one more thing I gotta say, this is something I added that Mark I did not have. The only reason why I was able to put uranium in the container and it stayed there is because here there are connectors. If these connectors right here were not there, then the reactors would automatically transfer every bit of uranium that I put in there in the cargo containers. It would be transferred automatically into the reactors. I didn't want that. This ship was doing exactly that, and I didn't want that to happen with this one. I wanted to be able to put uranium for you guys to find inside the cargo containers. So I had to split the conveyor here, And when you want to fill up the reactors, well, you can still do it from underneath the ship, but you know, okay, so you can do it from here if you want, but you can also just access any control panel on the ship, and then there's these two connectors here. Connector that says cargo to reactor and connector that says reactor to cargo. So you can use either one of them, both will work, but this connector here is the one that is coming from the cargo container. So this one is the cargo to reactor, and this one is the reactor to cargo. So you choose either one of them and then you click on lock, which I will not do, because if I do that, the reactors will automatically start transferring the uranium that's in the cargo containers. But I did it when I filled up the reactors. They both have 20 uranium in each one. And as soon as I did that, I unlocked these two connectors here, and then I added another 200 uranium in the cargo container. So now they're staying in the cargo container, they're not being transferred. So like I said, whenever you need to fill up the reactors, all you need to do is either lock both connectors that you see there, which are both identified in a way that it's easy to recognize them, and or you can do it from underneath the ship like I showed you. So that's pretty much all you guys need to know about the ship. There's really, yeah, I guess that's okay. There's a laser turret, antenna here that you can use. The other one also had a laser antenna on top here. So yeah, I will thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Hopefully you like the ship, and hopefully the developers like the ship, and hopefully they will add it to the game. That would make me very, very happy. So okay, see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.